The strange reason: doves always return to the same place. Some people say doves are peaceful, gentle, harmless. But one winter evening, a man in a quiet neighborhood noticed something that didn't feel peaceful at all. Every single day, at exactly the same hour, one lone dove landed on the broken fence outside his kitchen window. Not nearby, not somewhere close, the exact same spot. And no matter how hard he tried to scare it away, it always came back. Rain, wind, thunder. Even after the old fence collapsed during a storm, the dove returned and stood in the mud where the fence used to be, waiting, watching, as if something invisible still existed there. And that's when people around him started remembering an old belief that doves never return to a place without a reason, especially after death, especially after loss, especially when something unfinished remains behind. Because across history, people have feared the strange loyalty of doves for centuries. And tonight, you'll understand why. The air was cold that evening, one of those silent nights where even the trees seem afraid to move. The man later said the neighborhood felt wrong somehow. Too quiet, no dogs barking, no insects humming, just silence. Then came the soft tapping. Tap, tap, tap. At first he ignored it. But when the sound returned again the next night, and the night after that, he finally opened the curtains. And there it was, a pale gray dove sitting under the yellow porch light, perfectly still, not pecking the ground, not searching for food, just staring toward the house, watching. The strange part wasn't the bird itself. Doves live near humans all the time. But this one behaved differently. It never reacted when he approached, never panicked, never flew far. Even stranger, every evening it arrived at almost the exact same minute, 6:43 p.m. Every night, like a ritual, like a promise. And slowly, the bird became impossible to ignore. Neighbors started noticing it too. Children pointed at it from bicycles. An elderly woman across the street whispered something unsettling one morning. "That bird is waiting for someone." At the time, he laughed it off. But deep down, something about the dove disturbed him. Because animals repeat patterns for survival. But this felt emotional, personal, almost human. And what he discovered later would make the entire neighborhood uncomfortable. Because doves are not random wanderers, not even close. In fact, they may be among the most loyal birds on Earth. Long before cities existed, before power lines and highways, wild doves survived by memorizing home. Not just general locations, exact places, specific trees, precise rooftops, tiny landmarks invisible to humans. Scientists still struggle to fully understand how they do it. Some believe doves sense Earth's magnetic field. Others think they navigate through smell, sunlight, sound frequencies, or even low vibrations humans cannot detect. But what truly unsettles researchers is how accurate they are. A dove can travel hundreds of miles away and still return to the exact same location, sometimes within inches. And once a dove emotionally bonds with a nesting area, it may continue returning there long after the environment changes. Long after the tree is gone, long after the building disappears, long after life itself has moved on, as if memory becomes stronger than reality. Ancient cultures noticed this too, and they feared it. In ancient Mesopotamia, doves were believed to carry messages between worlds. In parts of Europe, people believed a dove lingering near a home meant a soul could not rest. Some old sailors refused to harm doves because they believed the birds remembered the dead. Even today, in quiet villages across the world, there are stories about doves returning to abandoned houses for years after families disappear. Waiting, always waiting. And maybe that sounds ridiculous until you witness it yourself. Weeks passed. The dove kept returning. Same place, same time. Sometimes it stayed for hours. The man started taking photos, keeping notes, trying to prove to himself this was normal. But then the pattern changed. One night, the dove arrived early, and for the first time, it wasn't alone. Another dove landed beside it. The two birds stood silently under the porch light, facing the window, not moving, not making a sound. Then suddenly, both birds lifted their heads toward the second floor of the house. At exactly the same moment, as if they heard something upstairs. The man froze, because there was nobody upstairs. He lived alone, or at least he thought he did. That night he barely slept. Every creak of the house sounded louder, every shadow felt wrong, and just before sunrise, he heard wings, not outside, inside the attic. Heavy movement, scratching, then silence. By morning, he convinced himself it was stress. Old houses make noise. Birds act strangely sometimes. But later that afternoon, he learned something horrifying from a neighbor. Years earlier, before he bought the house, an elderly couple had lived there. They were known for feeding doves every evening at sunset, always at the same spot near the fence. Then one winter, the husband died unexpectedly, and according to neighbors, the wife continued feeding the doves alone every night afterward, until one evening, she simply vanished. No goodbye, no explanation. The house stayed empty for almost 3 years, but the doves kept coming back every single evening, even after no food remained, even after storms destroyed the old garden, even after the world forgot the couple existed. The birds still returned, and suddenly, the dove outside the window didn't feel ordinary anymore. It felt connected to something unfinished, something trapped in routine. Scientists would explain this behavior differently. To them, it's called site fidelity, a powerful instinct causing birds to return to successful nesting or feeding locations repeatedly. Doves are especially known for it. Once they feel safe somewhere, they imprint on it deeply. The location becomes part of their survival map, part of their memory. And memory in animals is far more emotional than people realize. Researchers have discovered birds can recognize human faces, remember voices, feel stress, mourn partners. Some doves even stop eating after losing a mate. Others spend days calling for birds that never return. And suddenly the mystery becomes more emotional than supernatural, because maybe the dove wasn't haunting the house. Maybe it was grieving, trying to return to a moment that no longer existed, trying to find people who were gone. And honestly, that realization may be even sadder, but the story still wasn't over. Because one night, everything changed. A storm rolled over the neighborhood just after dark, the kind of storm that makes the sky look bruised. Rain slammed against the windows. Tree branches twisted violently in the wind. The power flickered twice, then died. The entire street fell into darkness, and through the rain, he saw it, the dove, still there, soaked completely, standing exactly where the fence used to be, not hiding, not fleeing, just staring toward the house again. Lightning flashed. For a split second, he noticed something behind the bird, a shadow in the upstairs window, tall, motionless, watching the storm. Then darkness swallowed everything again. He rushed outside with a flashlight, heart pounding, rain freezing against his skin. But when he pointed the light toward the yard, the dove was gone, and the upstairs window was empty. Yet in the mud near the porch, he found something strange. Fresh bird footprints, hundreds of them. Tiny tracks covering the yard in circles, as if dozens of birds had gathered there during the storm. But nobody on the street remembered seeing them arrive. For days after that, the dove disappeared completely. No tapping, no silhouette under the porch light, nothing. And strangely, the silence felt worse, because now the house seemed empty in a different way, like something had left. Then one evening, right as the sun dipped below the rooftops, he heard wings again, soft, close. He opened the curtains slowly, and there it was, the same dove, back in the exact same place, only this time, it carried a small twig in its beak, a nesting branch. And suddenly, everything made sense. The dove wasn't returning because of ghosts, or curses, or ancient warnings. It was returning because that place had once meant safety, warmth, food, trust, possibly for generations. To humans, a backyard fence is forgettable. To the dove, it was home. And maybe that's what makes this mystery so emotional. Animals remember places the way humans remember people. A song, a room, a voice, a moment. Some locations become stitched into memory so deeply, they survive long after everything changes, even after loss, even after death, even after the world moves on. And maybe that's why seeing a dove return again and again feels unsettling. Because deep down, We recognize ourselves in it. Humans do the same thing. We revisit old streets, old photographs, old messages. We return to places filled with ghosts of memory, trying to reconnect with versions of life that no longer exist. The dove outside the window wasn't warning anyone. It wasn't supernatural. It was something quieter, something more haunting. It was loyalty, pure instinctive loyalty, the kind that survives storms, silence, absence, even time itself. And maybe that's why doves became symbols of peace in so many cultures. Because peace is not forgetfulness. Peace is remembering and returning anyway. Even now, there are abandoned homes where doves still gather at sunset. Old barns, empty churches, broken rooftops, places where humans disappeared long ago. And every evening, the birds return to the same corners, as if memory itself lives there, waiting. So the next time you see a dove sitting quietly in one place, ask yourself something. How long has it been returning there? And who or what is it remembering? Because sometimes the strangest mysteries in nature are not about fear. They're about attachment. And sometimes that can feel even more unsettling. If you've ever had a strange encounter with birds or noticed one returning to the same place over and over again, share your story in the comments below. And if you enjoy mysterious nature stories like this one, subscribe to Backyard Bird Mystries for more cinematic bird mysteries, emotional wildlife encounters, and unexplained moments hidden inside the natural world. Until next time, keep watching the skies, because nature remembers more than we think.